Okay, today we're going to have fun with warrants. I'm your lawyer, Patrick McGeehan. I am your best friend at your worst time. I do a lot of warrant cases. I get a lot of tourists that come here. Florida's a tourist destination. Orlando, Daytona, where I'm at, South Florida, Tampa, St. Petersburg, Naples, the whole 9 yards. We get a lot of tourists in most of the state. And a lot of people come and they get arrested. They come to Florida on vacation and they leave on probation or they leave with a warrant. So what I see in a lot of cases is people will come from, California or something. They'll come here on vacation, New York, whatever. They'll come here on vacation. They'll get arrested for something and they either get the wrong address, they give the wrong address, the police write down the wrong address. They never get the court notices, so they never make an appearance. And since they never appear, the judge issues a warrant for them. I see it all the time, almost on a daily basis. Um, Florida, if it's a felony warrant, it's going to be extraditable, probably nationwide. The more serious the crime, the more likely it is going to be extraditable. Misdemeanors, not as much, but some are extraditable nationwide. Mostly I see statewide and surrounding states. And probably the worst is the Florida Keys, Monroe County. They will extradite you on pretty much anything. I've had clients that got arrested or got a citation for diving without a dive flag and ignored it, and they got a $50 warrant or a $100 warrant out of Monroe County. So what happens if you have a warrant? Well, let me tell you about one case. To the extremes that Florida will go to get you on a warrant, because these cases, criminal cases, do not disappear. They do not go away. If you ignore them, they will still continue without you. So let me tell you about probably my most, I don't know if you call it outrageous or unique or best example of being extradited on a warrant, just to give you some idea of what the extent Florida will go to. I had a Japanese citizen who came to Florida on vacation. He got arrested for a drug possession case. He went back to Japan, never addressed the case, ignored it. Like years went by, like 4 or 5 years went by. He was flying into Seattle and he was going through customs and got picked up on the warrant. The airport police in Seattle arrested him, transported him to the sheriff. He sat in Washington for a couple weeks before Florida picked him up. They transported him back to Florida and brought him before the court. And understand one thing you have to understand about warrant extradition: if you are extradited on a warrant to Florida, however much that costs the sheriff to bring you here will be charged to you. That'll be part of your resolution of the case, and it's usually a few $1,000s. On that particular case, I think it was $4,700. I've seen cases from the Northeast, people extradited from Pennsylvania and New York, that were about 3,000. Closer you are, the less expensive it is. They actually have companies that drive around in buses and pick people up in different states and bring them back, as well as the U.S. Marshal Service and the warrants. Detectives from certain sheriff's office will go out and get people. So just understand whatever those costs of extradition are, you are going to be paying those costs, or at least they're going to try to collect it from you if you do not win your case. So what happens when you get picked up on a warrant? A lot of warrants, particularly here in Volusia County, that are felony warrants, particularly if they involve first and second degree felonies, are usually no bond warrants, which means you're coming back and standing before a judge. If your warrant has a bond on it, you could pay it in the jurisdiction you're picked up on. They can transmit it to the local jurisdiction and you can be released. If it's a no bond or you're unable to make the bond, you're getting a trip back to Florida, and it is going to be an expensive trip because it's going to cost more than it would for you to come on vacation, probably. Anyway, so they'll bring you back. So how long does it take them to bring you back? Well, I had a client recently who got picked up in Western Pennsylvania, and it took 5 days for them to get him back because the prisoner bus, drove all the way out to Texas to pick up other people to bring back to Florida. So it all depends on what the scheduling is with the buses, whether they put you on a bus or they fly you, they come out and pick you up and fly you. Now, certain cases I see here in Volusia County, the sheriff will send his detectives, they'll fly them out to the jurisdiction, pick the person up and fly them back. But most of the time what I see is bus transportation. So if they bring you back and they extradite you on a no bond warrant, the chances of you getting a bond to get out of custody, particularly if it's a first degree or second degree felony, is rather slim. You've already demonstrated that you won't appear for the case, so why are they going to release you again? They've already released you once. They had to issue a warrant to bring you back. They're not going to do that again. Most of the time, those people sit in custody until their case is resolved. If you do get a bond, then you can bond out and you can go about your business. But if you fail to show again, they will issue another warrant for you. And I guarantee you, the second time, no matter what the charge is, they're not going to let you out of custody. So if you get picked up on a warrant in a foreign jurisdiction, a Florida warrant in a foreign jurisdiction, another state, and first thing you need to do is find out if it does have a bond. If it has a bond, post it and get out. Otherwise, contact a Florida attorney to start working on your case immediately. Sometimes I can get the case resolved before the person is actually extradited from the foreign jurisdiction or shortly after their arrival. One benefit of getting your case resolved before you get back or right when you get back is you can avoid paying the extradition costs sometimes. A lot of times the sheriff does not transmit the extradition costs prior to the first hearing. So what I usually do is in these types of cases, I will start working on the case and working on a resolution with the state attorney. And if I'm able to get a resolution from the state attorney before you're extradited and you arrive back in Florida, I can send somebody out there with the documents that you need to sign, get that all done. And as soon as you get back, we can get you out. And most of the time, I would say 8 out of 10 times, most of the time, the sheriff has not filed his cost sheet for extradition because I'll try to move up your hearing to resolve your case to coincide with right when you get back or within a week of when you get back. And you avoid paying those costs because once you resolve your case and those costs aren't included in it, they can't recover them. So it will save you a few $1,000s. So if you're picked up on a warrant, get your attorney working on it immediately. Maybe you can get it resolved in that manner, save you a bunch of time sitting around in some foreign jail or some foreign prison, and get your case resolved, and you can go about your life without having to worry about the case. Just make sure you get your lawyer. Number one thing is to get your lawyer working on it right away. Any questions, please feel free to email me or comment below. I try to answer all your questions. I get a bunch of most of my questions come via email because of privacy concerns, and I try to answer every one of them, and I can usually get through them within the week. Thank you and have a great day, and don't come to Florida on vacation and leave on probation or with a warrant.